It's down to the final four now on BBC Two Scotland, but who will be the king of the black chair?
Tonight, four former Mastermind champions face each other for the first time. First, Gavin Fuller, Mastermind champion in 1993. He answers questions on the Royal Navy's first iron-hulled battleship. Pat Gibson, our 2005 champion, faces questions on some of the greatest thinkers and their most profound thoughts. David Edwards, our 1990 champion, on a colourful American physicist and inventor. And Jessie Honey, this year's champion on Britain's biggest Roman Catholic church. For 40 years, Mastermind has been producing great champions. Who is the greatest of them all? Tonight, we shall find out. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to the final of Mastermind's Champion of Champions. This week, 16 former winners from across 5 decades have been pitted against each other for the first time. From those contests, 4 finalists have emerged, and tonight, one of them is going to take home this modest glass bowl, but what a title goes with it: Mastermind Champion of Champions. The rules remain largely the same, except that they'll now be tested for 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. They will still face 2 minutes on their specialist subject, and they will still have to do it sitting in that daunting black chair. So let's make a little bit of television history tonight and ask our first finalist to join us, please. And your name is?
Gavin Fuller.
Your occupation?
Newspaper librarian.
And your chosen subject?
The Victorian battleship HMS Warrior.
HMS Warrior in 2 minutes starting now. Who won Admiralty approval in 1859 for his design of HMS Warrior, the Royal Navy's first ocean-going ironclad battleship?
Isaac Watts.
Yes, why were extra tugs and hydraulic rams required at the launch of Warrior on the 29th of December 1860?
Because the slipway had frozen.
Yes, from December 1867 to February 1868, the ship was anchored off which royal residence with the crew rowing daily guard boats to protect Queen Victoria?
Osborne House.
Yes, in August 1868, Warrior collided with which other ship off the Isles of Scilly?
Royal Oak.
Yes, what was the name of the floating dock which Warrior and her sister ship Black Prince helped tow across the Atlantic from Madeira in July 1869?
HMS Bermuda.
Yes, which future admiral of the fleet and first Sea Lord joined the ship as a gunnery lieutenant in 1863?
Fisher.
Yes, who worked with Jack Whitehead in carving the third and current figurehead placed on the ship in 1985?
Norman Gash.
Yes, in June 1878, Warrior became part of which squadron assembled in response to an alleged Russian military threat?
Particular Service Squadron.
Yes, Warrior was built by the Thames Ironworks Company of Blackwall, but which Greenwich firm built her engines and boilers?
John Penn and Sons.
Yes, who became the ship's official historian when his secondment to the restoration project was made permanent in 1984?
Walter Brownlee.
It was in 1862 what original piece of the ship's rig was shortened from 49 to 25 feet to help reduce weight at the bow?
Bowsprit.
Yes, where was Warrior temporarily berthed for a few days when she first arrived in Hartlepool for a restoration before being moved to the coal dock on the 7th of September 1979?
Union Dock.
Yes, what was done to streamline the ship in parallel to hoisting the propeller when she was under sail?
The funnels were lowered.
Yes, in 1904, Warrior became part of the Royal Navy's torpedo training school under what name?
Vernon 3.
Yes, as given in the original 1858 specification, to what depth below the waterline was the armour plating to extend?
9 feet.
5 feet. What post was held by William Buchan when he became the first Royal Navy officer to join the ship on the 4th of January 1861?
Chief Engineer.
Yes, in March 1929, Warrior was towed from Portsmouth to Pembroke Dock by the St Mellons and which other Admiralty tug?
St Clears.
Yes, what derogatory naval epithet for the Coast Guard was applied to Warrior? I'll finish the question. When she became part of the first reserve in the Coast Guard service in 1875?
Gobby Ship.
Gobby Ship is correct. You had only one wrong. You have a total, with no passes, of 17 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Pat Gibson.
Your occupation?
I'm a software developer and egghead.
And your chosen subject?
The lives of the great mathematicians.
The great mathematicians in 2 minutes. Which German mathematician who died in 1891 said, God made the integers, all the rest is the work of man?
Leopold Kronecker.
Correct. In one of his paradoxes, whom did the Greek mathematician Zeno of Elea suggest could not overtake a tortoise in a race if the tortoise was given a head start?
Achilles.
Yes. Fermat's last theorem first appeared in about 1637 as a note in the margin of which book?
Diophantine.
Yes. Which 4th century BC mathematician is usually credited with the theory of proportion found in Book 5 of Euclid's Elements?
Eudoxus.
Yes. Arthur Cayley was the first holder of which professorship at Cambridge?
Sadlerian.
Yes. Pascal became involved in the theory of probability after a nobleman consulted him on a mathematical problem connected with gambling. What was his name?
Condorcet.
Antoine Gombeau, Chevalier de Mer. Descartes, who normally spent his mornings in bed, caught a fatal chill when Queen Christina of Sweden insisted he start her studies at what hour?
5 a.m.
Yes, in the 1820s, Nikolai Lobachevsky produced the first published work on which branch of mathematics?
Hyperbolic geometry. Non-Euclidean geometry.
Correct. Whose work on hydrodynamics has many modern applications, including an equation that is the basis of aircraft wing design?
Daniel Bernoulli.
Correct. One of Gauss's early achievements was the construction of a regular polygon of how many sides using only a ruler and compass?
17.
Correct. In 1873, which French mathematician published the first proof that the constant E is a transcendental number?
Charles Hermite.
Correct. Who put up the prize awarded to Henri Poincaré in 1889 for his treatise on the three-body problem in celestial mechanics?
King Oscar of Sweden.
Yes. Archimedes calculated the upper limit of pi as 3 1/7. What did he calculate the lower limit as?
3 and 10 71st.
Yes. What number system did William Hamilton first develop in 1843 while he was walking along the Royal Canal in Dublin?
Quaternions.
Correct. What method of representing three-dimensional objects in a two-dimensional plane was invented by Gaspard Monge?
Descriptive geometry.
Correct. For how long did Laplace hold the post of French Minister of the Interior? He was succeeded by Napoleon's brother Lucien.
6 months.
6 weeks. Which new type of number was introduced by Ernst Krummer?
The ideal number.
Yes, who described the Russian mathematician Sofia Kovalevskaya as a dangerous woman after she persuaded him to allow one of her female friends to study in his all-male chemistry laboratory?
Bunsen.
Robert Bunsen is correct. You had no passes either. You have a total of 16 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
David Edwards.
Your occupation?
Retired teacher.
And your chosen subject?
Count Rumford.
Count Rumford in 2 minutes. In which town was Count Rumford born Benjamin Thompson, 26th of March, 1753?
Woburn.
Yes. What was the name of the Elector of Bavaria who in 1792 promoted Thompson to the rank of Imperial Count of the Holy Roman Empire with the title Count of Rumford?
Carl Theodore.
Yes. With which storekeeper in Salem did he begin an apprenticeship in 1766?
Appleton.
Yes. On board which ship did Rumford sail with the Channel Fleet as a volunteer in 1779?
Victory.
To conduct experiments on gunpowder and signalling methods. Victory is correct. What method did he use in a letter of May 1775 to secrete information for the British about American war plans?
Invisible ink.
Yes. Which fellow passenger on a voyage across the Channel in 1783 described Rumford as Secretary Colonel Admiral Philosopher Thompson?
Gibbon.
Yes. What name did he give to the device he invented for measuring the intensity of light emitted by candles and oil lamps?
Photometer.
Yes. Rumford married a wealthy widow in November 1772. What was her maiden name?
Palzer.
Walker, who drew a celebrated caricature of Rumford warming himself in front of a fireplace entitled The Comforts of a Rumford Stove?
Gilray.
Yes. On what date in 1790 did he arrange for the Bavarian army to arrest all Munich's beggars and place them in a workhouse to make military uniforms?
Jan the 1st.
Yes. In later life, he caused amusement by going outside in winter wearing a shiny hat of what colour to minimise loss of radiant body heat?
White.
Yes. Essay 18, first published in 1812, is concerned with the making of what drink?
Coffee.
Yes. In which town did Rumford land when he returned to America in 1781 as Lieutenant Colonel of the King's American Dragoons?
Charleston.
Yes. To what post did George III appoint Rumford in December 1776 on the recommendation of Lord George Germain?
He was Under-Secretary for the Colonies.
Secretary for the province of Georgia. What name was given to the daughter he had by his mistress, Countess Baumgarten?
Sophie Baumgarten.
Yes, what was the original purpose of the device he invented for the kitchens of the House of Industry in Munich that he adapted as a meat roaster after a shoulder of mutton was left in it overnight?
Drying potatoes.
Yes, who painted a portrait of Rumford in the scarlet uniform of a British colonel in about 1783?
Gainsborough.
Yes, I'll finish. What unflattering epithet did Rumford say he used for his second wife, Lavoisier's widow, in a letter to his daughter on their first wedding anniversary?
A female dragon.
Is precisely what he thought of her. Again, no passes. Again, David Edwards, 16 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Jesse Honey,
Your occupation?
urban planner,
And your chosen subject?
Westminster Cathedral.
In 2 minutes, starting now, uniquely amongst major English cathedrals, Westminster designed in which architectural style?
Byzantine.
Yes, on the 29th of June of which year was the foundation stone of the cathedral laid?
1895.
Yes, who was the principal architect of Westminster Cathedral who died before its completion?
Bentley.
He was. Which aspect of canon law caused the cathedral's consecration to be delayed until 1910, even though it was in daily use from 1903?
It can't be consecrated with debt.
Yes, to which article of the Catholic faith is the cathedral dedicated?
The most precious blood.
Yes, the niches on either side of the entrance to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel have mosaic representations of a phoenix symbolising the resurrection and which other bird symbolising immortality?
A peacock.
Yes. Which architect appointed in 1867 by Cardinal Manning spent 6 years designing a Gothic cathedral on the site before the project was abandoned?
Pass.
The memorial by David Partridge to the men of the Royal Canadian Air Force is in the shape of the Greek letters Chi and Rho and is constructed from hundreds of what?
Nails.
Yes, which architect, who was Bentley's former assistant, completed the cathedral's great portico after Bentley's untimely death in 1902?
Marshall.
Yes, what type of marble from Thessaly in Greece was used for the 8 dark green columns in the nave?
Verde Antico.
Correct, who was the cathedral's first master of music who established Westminster Cathedral as a centre of musical excellence?
Terry.
Yes, which feature over the high altar did Bentley intend to be the cathedral's crowning glory? It was unveiled on Christmas Eve 1906.
Baldacchino.
Correct, who sculpted the cathedral's series of Stations of the Cross between 1913 and 1918?
Gill.
Yes, the remains of which priest who was martyred in 1654 were brought to the cathedral in 1930 and are enshrined in the chapel of St George?
St John Southworth.
Yes, at the cathedral in June 1903, Edward Elgar conducted the first London performance of his setting of which work?
Dream Frontiers.
Yes, the single bell in the campanile given as a gift by the Duchess of Norfolk in 1910 is usually known by what name?
Great Edward.
Yes, Giacomo Mansu's sculpture of Santa Teresa of Lisieux and the Blessed Sacrament Chapel's mosaics were installed during the office of which Archbishop of Westminster?
Godfrey.
Yes, which writer gave the cathedral a small wooden statue of St Christopher in honour of the troops, including his own son, serving in France during the First World War?
Belloc.
Is correct. You had one pass. The architect appointed in 1867 by Cardinal Manning was Henry Clutton. You have, Jesse Honey, 17 points. Well, I've never seen a round quite like that before. Let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place, 16 points apiece. Pat Gibson and David Edwards. In joint first place, 17 points apiece. Gavin Fuller and Jesse Honey. So it is the general knowledge round now. I wonder what awaits us. If there is a tie at the end of it, might very well be, then the number of passes gets taken into account, and whoever has the fewer passes is the winner. If they're tied on passes as well, well, then there'll be a tie break, and they now have to face 2.5 minutes, remember, of general knowledge. So let's get on with it and ask Pat Gibson to join us again, please. And lest we needed any reminding, you start with a score of 16 points. Let's see where you go with your general knowledge. Which former Prime Minister wrote a history of cricket entitled More Than a Game, the story of cricket's early years?
John Major.
Yes, which building in Whitehall was designed by Inigo Jones and completed in 1622?
The banqueting hall.
Yes, what Spanish name meaning the child is given to the periodic warming of the Eastern Pacific that disrupts weather patterns?
El Nino.
Yes, which red dwarf, the second closest star to our sun after the Alpha Centauri system, is named after an American scientist who studied its motion?
Barnard's star.
Yes, which writer, together with Dick Clement, has created several classic television shows, including The Likely Lads Porridge and Auf Wiedersehen Pet?
Lefrene.
Yes, which English Field Marshal's defeat of Turkish forces at Megiddo in 1918 was quickly followed by Turkey's surrender?
Lord Pasha.
Allenby. What word is used in synagogues for a male singer who chants the liturgy and leads the congregation in prayer, and in Christian churches for the leader of the choir?
Cantor. Kantar.
Yes, which Scottish chemist is credited with inventing the vacuum flask?
Dewar.
Yes, which 13-year-old British swimmer became a double gold medal winner at the 2008 Beijing Paralympics?
Simmons.
Yes, who wrote the poems The Dong with a Luminous Nose and The Courtship of the Yonghy Bonghy Bow?
Lear.
Yes, which species of moth shares its name with the legendary prophetess who lived in Knaresborough, Yorkshire?
Mother Shipton.
Yes, which American director's films include Clute, All the President's Men and Sophie's Choice?
Pacula.
Yes, what is the Latin word for liquid? It can describe an emulsion of resins, proteins and other organic substances extracted from certain plants.
Colloid.
Latex, which granddaughter of Edmund Ironside fled to Scotland after the Norman conquest, where she became queen? She was later canonised for her devotion to the church.
Margaret Scotland.
Yes, which kind of soft felt hat popularised by King Edward VII takes its name from the town in Germany where it was first worn?
Hamburg.
Yes, in June 2010, 17-year-old Arjun Rajagor from Essex became the first winner of which reality television show?
Big Brother.
Junior Apprentice, which present-day Welsh county incorporates the area once known as the county of Radnorshire?
Powys.
Yes, who is typically pictured with the risen Christ in an artwork titled Noli Me Tangere, which translates as Do Not Touch Me?
Mary Magdalene.
Yes, which German-born composer wrote the popular harpsichord piece commonly called The Harmonious Blacksmith? It comes from his 1720 suite in E major.
Handel.
Yes, which 19th century American social reformer's name was given to an outfit consisting of a skirt worn over loose trousers gathered at the ankle?
Loomer.
Yes, what was the pen name of the Chilean poet and diplomat Neftali Ricardo Reyes Balsalto, who won the 1971 Nobel Prize for Literature?
Neruda.
Yes, which small dog, first bred in Belgium to guard canal barges, is known by a Dutch name meaning little boatman?
Kippershey.
Yes, in which 1841 short story by Edgar Allan Poe does the character Auguste Dupin display his skills as a detective?
Murders on the Rue Morgue.
The Murders in the Rue Morgue is correct. No passes. You have a total, Pat Gibson, of 36 points. And now David Edwards, please. Yes, you may very well wince. You have 16 points. As you know, 36 is the score to beat. Let's see if you can do it. What colour is the silk band worn by members of the Order of the Garter? Such ribbons are a traditional mark of distinction.
Red.
Blue. Which aquatic member of the weasel family almost became extinct in the British Isles because of river pollution, habitat loss and fur hunters?
Otter.
Yes, which German man set up a continental pigeon post around 1850 before moving to London, where he founded a news agency?
Reuter.
Yes, who wrote the 1947 play All My Sons about a grieving American family coming to terms with the profiteering father's guilt?
Miller.
Yes, which of the Outer Hebrides has an airport with a beach runway used for scheduled airline flights?
Barra.
Yes, which naturalist who first appeared on television in the 50s became controller of BBC Two in 65, then BBC Director of Programmes before returning to the screen to present a landmark series in 79?
Edinburgh.
Yes, who was the chief goddess of Babylonian myth? She was also the goddess of fertility and war.
Astarte.
Ishtar. Which actress starred in the 1915 silent film Birth of a Nation and made her final film The Whales of August in 1987?
Gish.
Yes, which Old Testament figure is seen in Islam as the first in a long line of prophets, the last and greatest of which was Muhammad?
Abraham.
Adam. In mathematics, what name is given to a three-dimensional spiral curve that resembles a spring, corkscrew or screw thread?
Helix.
Yes, which American singer-songwriter recorded the multi-platinum-selling 1977 album Running on Empty?
Springsteen.
Jackson Browne. Which French king met with England's Henry VIII at the so-called Field of Cloth of Gold?
Francis II.
Francis I. What would a person be studying if they were described as an enologist?
Wine.
Yes, which poet who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1907 wrote The Islanders, in which he describes cricketers as flannelled fools?
Hardy.
Kipling. Which Northern Irish actor was installed as Chancellor for the University of Ulster in June 2010?
Nesbitt.
Is correct. What name is given to the large lowland plain between the Andes and the Paraguay River that's covered in swamps and scrub forest?
The Gran Chaco.
Yes, which country's standard currency unit was the pengo until 1946 when it was replaced by the forint?
Hungary.
Yes, which old-time dance in which partners are exchanged is named after an 18th century American naval commander?
Paul Jones.
Yes, what name is given to the instrument used to measure the humidity or water vapour content of a gas?
Hygrometer.
Correct. Which Catalan cellist, composer and conductor left Spain in 1939 and settled in the French town of Prades, where he established an annual music festival?
Casals.
Yes, the city of Perugia is the capital of which mountainous region in central Italy?
Umbria.
Correct. What name derived from a Hindi word is given to the butter, clarified by boiling, that's used in Indian cuisine?
Ghee.
Yes, which contemporary American composers' operas include Einstein on the Beach and Akhenaten? quick.
Sorry, I know.
I'm going to have to tell you.
Yeah. Cage.
It was glass. So you had a crack at it. An extraordinary score, not quite enough, 32 points. And now Gavin Fuller, please. And you start with 17 points, and 36 is still the score to beat, as if you needed telling. Here we go. What word for the male head of a family is used to refer to an Old Testament ancestor such as Abraham or Jacob?
Patriarch.
Yes, what name is typically given to the immature fruit of a certain type of cucumber used for pickling?
Gherkin.
Yes, which opera features an inn close to the ramparts of Seville run by the title character's friend Lilas Pastia?
Carmen.
Yes, which English Earl and former Lord Lieutenant of Ireland was executed in 1601 after leading an uprising against the Crown?
Essex.
Yes, in which 1882 play by Henrik Ibsen does the protagonist say the strongest man in the world is the man who stands most alone?
Master Builder.
An enemy of the people in Greek mythology who was the son of Odysseus and Penelope who helped his father fight his mother's suitors?
Telemachus.
Yes, which alcoholic spirit has been made in the Southside Street Distillery in Plymouth since 1793?
Gin.
Yes, which Castilian princely title is given to Spain's heir apparent? It's the equivalent title to our own Prince of Wales.
Infanta.
Asturias. What is the literal English translation of the Latin motto multum in parvo?
Many in one.
Yes, or much in little. Which Oscar-winning composer shares his name with an Australian guitarist who performed the main theme on the soundtrack to the film The Deer Hunter?
John Williams.
Yes, the name of which industrial town in Renfrewshire is given to a pattern of small curving shapes found on silk and cotton fabric?
Pass.
The Amish sect is an offshoot of which other communion of Anabaptist Christians?
Pass.
Which Bolton-born actress who first came to notice in the comedy programme Dinner Ladies played the title role in the 2010 television drama The Secret Diaries of Miss Anne Lister?
Julie Walters.
Maxine Peake. Which former British Prime Minister died the day before his 93rd birthday in 2005?
Callahan.
Yes, what term describes a person who's been knighted but does not yet belong to any of the orders of knights?
Ungazetted.
Knight Bachelor. Which Manchester United player suffered an injury shortly before the 2010 FIFA World Cup, had to withdraw from the Portuguese squad?
Nanny.
Yes, which iconic Californian landmark was saved in 2010 by a $900,000 donation from Hugh Hefner?
The Hollywood sign.
Yes, what's the name of the largest island in the Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard?
Spitsbergen.
Correct. Which American poet spent most of his life in Europe? His life's work was an unfinished series of cantos written between 1925 and 1970.
Auden.
Pound. Which Soviet weightlifter broke 80 world records in the super heavyweight division over the course of his career?
Orzov.
Alexeyev. What Sanskrit word meaning action is used in the Buddhist faith for the doctrine of cause and effect?
Karma.
Yes, which yellow dye, widely used as a colouring agent in food, is also known as E102?
Tartrazine.
Yes, which 17th century Spanish artist is noted for his paintings of religious subjects and of children?
Murillo.
Is correct. You had two passes. The Amish sect is an offshoot of the Mennonites, and Paisley is the name of the... That made you cross, is the name of the town and the fabric and all that. Two passes, again, a hefty score, again, not quite enough, 32 points. And finally, Jessie Honey, please. And you also have 17 points, and I'll tell you again, 36 is the score to beat. Let's see if you can do what the others have failed to do and become champion of champions. Here we go, 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. What term describes the unorthodox boxing style of leading with the right hand off the right foot rather than with the left?
Southpaw.
Yes, which game also called the devil on two sticks involves spinning a narrow-waisted top on a string that's tied between two sticks?
Diablo.
Yes, which body of water in the centre of Northern Ireland is the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles?
Loch Ness.
Yes, in Greek mythology, what name was usually given to the paradise where the souls of heroes and good men went after death? It was sometimes called the Isles of the Blessed or the Fortunate Isles.
Elysium Fields.
Yes, which small orange-like fruit native to southern China and Malaysia is obtained from trees of the genus Fortunella?
Kumquat.
Yes, which English king's claim to the French throne through his mother Isabella provoked the 100 Years' War?
Edward III.
Yes, what term meaning strength is used in chemistry to indicate the ability of an element's atoms to combine with those of other elements?
Valency.
Yes, which Canadian writer's novel Fugitive Pieces won the Orange Prize for Fiction in 1997?
Margaret Atwood.
Anne Michaels. Which artistic movement characterised by abstractionism and machine-like forms was pioneered by the artist and writer Wyndham Lewis?
Vorticism.
Yes, what is the common name of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug whose active chemical constituent is salicylic acid?
Aspirin.
Yes, which Conservative MP became Secretary of State for Defence in May 2010?
Liam Fox.
Yes, which American television comedy drama series looked at life through the eyes of Kevin Arnold, a boy growing up in the late 60s and early 70s?
Wonder Years.
Yes, in 1877, which Italian astronomer observed markings on the surface of Mars that he called canali, meaning channels, which was misinterpreted as canals?
Schiaparelli.
Yes, which Hungarian designer created a multicoloured puzzle originally intended to help explain three-dimensional geometry?
Rubik.
Yes, the abbreviation OEM is often found on electronic and computer devices. What does it stand for?
Pass.
Which American actor plays Dastan, the central character in the Disney adventure film Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, which musical instrument did the composer Gustav Holst play professionally in orchestras?
Oboe.
Trombone. What name is usually given to that part of the Napoleonic Wars fought in Spain and Portugal from 1808 to 14, also known as the Spanish War of Independence?
Peninsular Wars.
Yes, which narrow stretch of water separates the islands of Borneo and Sulawesi?
Salive Strait.
The Makassar Strait. Which poet and dramatist wrote the tragedy Sejanus, His Fall, the play's original 1603 cast, said to have included Shakespeare?
Johnson.
Yes, what was the first name of the wife of John Churchill, 1st Duke of Marlborough, whose closeness to Queen Anne was a significant influence on her husband's career?
Sarah.
Yes, which geometric solid, a pyramid with a circular cross-section, can be generated by rotating an isosceles triangle about its line of symmetry?
Cone.
Yes, which Prime Minister of Ceylon was assassinated by a Buddhist monk in 1959? He was succeeded by his widow, Sirimavo.
Bandaranaike.
Bandaranaike is correct. One pass, OEM, stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. You have, Jesse Honey, 36 points. I think I can safely say there's never been a game of Mastermind quite like that. Let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place with 32 points, Gavin Fuller and David Edwards. In second place with 36 points and 2 passes, Jesse Honey. In first place with 36 points and no passes, Mastermind Champion of Champions, Pat Gibson. Very many congratulations. You've won just about every quiz show there is, starting with Millionaire. This has got to be the ultimate, yeah?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And just a sentence on how you do it. How do you learn all that stuff?
I'm interested in most things, so I read a lot.
And you remember it?
I remember it.
God knows how you do it. Anyway, congratulations. What an extraordinary result. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And thank you for watching. We're going to be returning to the real world with the regular Mastermind for a new series on BBC Two very soon. Thank you for watching tonight's Champion of Champions. Good night.
And Mastermind returns for that new series in 2 weeks on Friday the 20th of August here on BBC Two Scotland at 8. Next tonight though, out and about solving your horticultural headaches. Gardener's World.